What's up everybody and welcome back to All Things Korean. In this video, I'm going to talk about why counting big numbers in Korean is just so damn confusing. So this video is mainly going to be dealing with numbers that are 10,000 and above. If you plan on watching this video, I'm going to assume that you already know how to count in Korean, that you already know that there are two systems of counting. There's the native Korean system, 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, and then you have the Sino-Korean system, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to assume that you already know how to count the bigger numbers as well. 천, 만, 십만, 백만, etc. But what I want to talk about is why it's so confusing and why it doesn't follow the same counting system as we are used to in English. Now, dealing with big numbers is very important if you're going to live in Korea because you're going to come across these numbers, especially when you're talking about money, when you are discussing your salary, when you're talking about rent or housing prices. So it's very important to know, but it also may take a while to get used to. Let's just take a look at why the counting system is fundamentally different. So when you're counting in English, the naming is actually really intuitive and it's very easy to learn by looking at the actual numbers. And what I mean by that is when we look at numerals that are written down, there's a comma every 3 digits or every thousands, right? And the naming also changes by every power of 1,000. So you have 1,000. 1,000 to the second power is 1 million. 1,000 to the third power is a billion. So it's pretty straightforward. You just need to look at where the comma or how many commas there are, and it's pretty easy to name the big ass number just by looking at the commas. In Korean, however, when the numbers are 1,000 and above, we exclusively use Sino-Korean, which is the counting system that we adopted from Chinese. Now, the traditional Chinese counting system does not go by thousands, but it goes by myriads, or 10,000s. So the name or the grouping of numbers doesn't go by powers of 1,000, but it changes every power of 10,000. So 1,000 in Korean is 천, and 10,000 in Korean is not 10,000. It's not 십천, it's 만, because this is where the counting really begins. So you have 만, and 100,000 becomes 10만, and 1 million, although you have a new comma inserted because it's every 3 digits, it doesn't change its name, but instead it becomes 100만, which is 110,000. And then once it becomes 만만, 10,000 to the second power, that's when it becomes 억. So you see, when you're counting in Korean, the comma placement does absolutely nothing to help you. I mean, 억 is 100 million in English, but it's actually the start of a new number grouping in Korean. And that's why you might notice in Korean dramas and stuff, when people come across really big numbers, like let's say 50억, which is 5 billion, a lot of Koreans probably won't be able to name really big numbers at a glance. They count starting from the tens, and then they have to make their way up until they get to the number. So the reaction is also very delayed. So they don't look at a number and go, 50억? Oh my god, no, they go, 10, 100, 50억! Which means that modern numerals aren't exactly compatible with the Korean way of counting when it comes to bigger numbers. But I guess Koreans are kind of used to that by now, and I don't think it's that much of a problem when we're just in everyday conversation. Like, oh, if we say 100만 to mean a million, I mean, we just kind of already grasp what kind of money 100만 won is. Same goes for even bigger units like 억, 10억, 100억. I won't be able to tell you exactly how many zeros there are in 100억 or 10억, but I just know that if a house costs 10억, it's freaking expensive. And I also know that if your salary reaches 억, that also means you're doing pretty well. Just like, for example, in the States, when you say you're making 6 digits, which is the equivalent to ok in Korea, then you know that you're making a lot of money. So I guess this video isn't really teaching you about counting big numbers. I just wanted to shed some light on why it's so damn difficult. And I guess as a last minute tip, what I like to do when counting numbers up to 천만 is that I take the number before 만 and then I just add 4 zeros to it. So for example, when you say numbers like 540만 원, I just take 540, I add 4 zeros, and that gives me my number. It's definitely going to take some getting used to, and I think it will be easier to get used to it if you're living in Korea and you're dealing with big Korean numbers on a fairly regular basis. I just didn't really give a lot of thought to why it was called 10만 and 100만. I didn't know that there was this concept of myriads that existed not only in Chinese culture but like ancient Greek as well, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And that wraps up my video for today. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. If you're a little like me and you enjoy analyzing Korean in unnecessary depth, then please subscribe to this channel. I will share more videos with you related to Korean language and culture. I'll see you in the next one. 다음 영상에서 만나요.